This is the training tutorial on the compound miter saw for FSU School of Theater. So this is our compound miter saw. This is a 12-inch compound miter saw. It's in its lockdown storage position. On the side of the saw here, there's a pin that's holding it down. So if you push down on the front, pull that pin, it will rise up into a working height. This saw is equipped with a dust collection system inside and a switch box so that when the saw turns on, the dust collector will turn on and it will go off when the saw goes off. This also has outfeed tables on either side that simply rise up. There are 2 pins on either side where they connect to. Make sure that they're lined up to those pins so that the alignment is correct. To operate this tool, it's a 2-hand cutting operation, one to hold the material in the areas outside the hands-free zone. These are indicated by hands with a line through them. Don't put your hands close to the blade, keep them outside of those line indicated areas. One hand holding the material tight to the table and tight to the fence. The other on the handle trigger, turn the trigger on, bring it down to cut, and then bring it back up to finished position. You can hold on either side. Just make sure you do not cross your arms. Crossing your arms is not acceptable and it leads to hazardous conditions. Don't do that. This is a compound miter saw, so it does have an angle adjustment on the front. You can loosen this and then pull up on this tab, and then you can make it go to a different angle as indicated on this scale. Lock it in place by tightening that knob. Even if it falls into a position, still tighten it so that it's secure. This is a compound miter saw, so you can adjust the angle of the body of the saw as well. In order to do that, the first thing you must do is pull this fence out of the way. There is a knob on the back here. Loosen that and slide this out of the way so that it will not be in danger of getting cut by the saw blade. Otherwise, the saw blade can come in contact with this. It's metal. It'll make a really terrible cutting sound and do damage to the blade. On the back side here, there's a star-shaped handle or 3-pointed handle. So turn that, loosens, and then you can tilt the head to an angle here. There's a scale indicated right here to tell you which angle you're at. So you can have that angle and this angle, and you can make a compound angle cut. This does not have a sliding head, so you can only have the area that it can cut with the 12-inch blade, and it does not tilt to the other direction. It only tilts in one direction, so be aware of that. This being on carts, we have 2 of these so that they can travel around the shop floor for adjustment cuts or for additional points of additional placements of cutting. When finished with the tool, push it all the way down and into its lock pin position. On the back side of the tool, there is a cord reel for being able to plug in anywhere at the shop or wherever the tool happens to be at that time, and an auxiliary strip, which is a power strip also connecting to the same power. Be aware of the limitations of the cutting area of this tool, and also make sure that when you cut with this tool, let the saw blade come up to speed. You'll hear it when it gets up to speed, and then make your cut. If you do not and you cut early, it can cause damage to the blade, it can cause damage to the motor, and it can give you a poor cut. So make sure that you let it get up to speed before you use it. Put all things back to 0 position when you're completed using this tool. These simply fold back up. There is a block here that slides into a track here as a stop block for repeating cuts, so you're welcome to use that as well. And that is the training on the 12-inch miter saw.